Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to Hot Shots TV. I'm as always Scott Briard and you're watching. This is darts. Today we're going to get into another company. I know we've spoken a lot about Unicorn so far. We've also reflected a bit back to the past on thoroughbred darts, discussed Jeff Pickup's invention of the thoroughbred point and how it became the Harrows PowerPoint. So today we're going to discuss Harrows PowerPoints made in England retractable dart that are still available. We'll touch on Harrows' greatest ever sponsored player, Eric Bristow, which we've done some contests regarding the video he shot here in Canada back in '89. It's tough for me not to sort of focus on Eric before we start doing shows on Phil Taylor and such. Eric was really the premier player that brought darts to the world, I'd be happy to say. He certainly had the confidence, the cockiness out there, but as I remember him saying in interviews, if he can back it up, it ain't just bragging. And it's certainly true because Eric won many world championships, world masters, world embassy championships, tournaments around the world, Canadian Opens, World Cup singles titles. I was there for one of those in Toronto in '89. Eric really was the flair of the dart industry. Some call him the Muhammad Ali of darts. Eric certainly made it exciting. It's unfortunate he does no longer play. Played last year, I believe, in a Legends League through England that was somewhat on Sky Television, I believe, over in England through Matchroom Sports with Barry Hearn and such. He doesn't play to the caliber, obviously, that he did 20 years ago. There doesn't seem to be a seniors league out there yet for dart players to play in, but Eric truly was the player that brought darts around in the early '80s. It was exciting because he won the world championships at such a young age. And it was exciting, and for us as teenagers, having someone like him fly into the country maybe twice a year, traveling around Ontario and through New York State and Michigan and such into tournaments, it was pretty exciting to be around somebody who was so lively, so great at the game, and a real inspiration to us all. We all tried to hold our darts similar to Eric with the ring finger sort of on the edge of the point, and then the pinky certainly sticking out. So it didn't always work for all of us, but it certainly worked for Eric. So we'll touch on Eric's darts, the long pencil barrel that he has, and let's first start on Harrows. The PowerPoints, which I believe late '80s, as we discussed with Jeff Pickup, late '80s, early '90s, Harrows purchased, leased, however you want to describe it, from Art McKenna, the PowerPoint, which was the thoroughbred patent, and they created the retractable dart that became the PowerPoint. Now, and we'll do a little zoom into this afterwards when we do some editing, the actual collar and point is a lot larger than the thoroughbred, and as Jeff Pickup mentioned in the interview we had with him, is that they created a real stronger collar that would last. And as we mentioned, the Bottleson hammerhead collar can easily break. So this one, they certainly did a great job and they created it. Now PowerPoints, I'm disappointed in one thing, because they discontinued making 90% tungsten darts years ago. And it's unfortunate. Although this 80% dart, the barrel is quite slim. Certainly if it was a 90% dart, it would have a little bit more, being more of a dense of a material tungsten, that the higher percentage of tungsten, the thinner dart usually get, and it would allow for more 180s, for easier grouping when you're trying to hit a double. Just really gives the professional or league player a little bit of an edge, and certainly if you threw an 80% or 90% tungsten, you can feel a difference in the dart. So it's unfortunate, or PowerPoints I believe would be used a lot more in league, certainly in league play, maybe not in professional play, but certainly a lot more in league play if they created a thinner dart. So it's unfortunate. PowerPoints are only available in the 80 grams. So they've got a nice long knurl such as that. We'll open up, this is our very, very important Harrows catalog that we have here at the store. They also do a double knurl in even weights of 22, 24, 26, and a knurl such as this in 21, 23, and 25 grams. So a great dart, does have the retractable, and again, back to retractable points. When they're brand new, they're a little sticky. But when they're brand new, they certainly catch that when you do pull them back out of the board, they put themselves back into the firing position so that they can retract. So retractable points, as always, hit a wire, allow the dart to retract, giving it that extra force. Pushing it past the wire into the dartboard reduces bounce outs. It was a big thing, again, as we spoke with Jeff Pickup about, back in the '80s, because most dartboards back then only had round wires. This is prior to the days of the Winmau Blade, the no-door Supermatch and such. although I believe the Puma Bandit was around and did have some thin wires to it. You found that your darts bounced out a lot more playing on the round wires and boards such as the Pro SFB and the Super Bowl. So retractable points are certainly popular back then. They certainly still are today, but not as much of an effect as they had back then. Certainly when you went out to the pub or played in dart leagues or played at home, you found more bounce outs because of the wiring system. Now to Eric Bristow's darts. Unfortunately, I've only got a set of 26 sitting in our cabinet. Barrel is a lot shorter at 26 grams. When we're dealing with the 22 and 24, they get longer and they get slimmer. And they certainly work out for people with long fingers. I wouldn't say I'm someone with long fingers, but those that do have long fingers, it gives you a longer barrel to hold on to it. Eric, certainly, I believe Eric was 6'2", 6'3", did have large hands and was able to spread his fingers out a lot longer down a longer barrel. And as we all remember, Eric's ring finger sat on the end of the point. His pinky was out, but he had a longer barrel allowing him to do so. But to the 26 gram, shorter barrel, we'll take the shaft off here and show it. A shorter barrel, so we do get to the 24, the 22 do become longer barrels. And they get thinner, so they do allow you to group a lot easier when you're dealing with the thinner dart. Eric, I believe his darts, let's go back to them here, 22, 24, and 26. They come in a ring, as shown here, grip, and they do come in a neural grip as well. So again, many of you access on YouTube, watch some old videos. Eric was a fantastic player, certainly exciting. Sort of had that Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader sort of combination going with John Lowe. They were mortal enemies, so to speak. They were fine off stage, but when they got on stage, you could tell both of them were certainly vying for the title, sort of thing. And they sort of ran, one being sponsored by Unicorn, one being sponsored by Harrow. Sort of ran that sort of competition flair, I guess, for many years. Certainly two great characters in a game back then. So again, Eric Bristow's darts, 22, 24, 26, available in a ring as shown. We can get them in a knurl as well. Great darts, and especially great for people with long fingers. They certainly give you a chance to spread your hands out and your fingers out over the barrel. Not available in retractable. I think they did it for a little while. I believe Harrows back in the 80s provided the Bristows in a retractable dart, but now they're only in a fixed point. So, great darts, both the PowerPoint and the Eric Bristow dart by Harrows. They certainly sponsor other players. I believe there's still Mark, let's go back to it. I don't remember his last name off the top of my head. Mark Dudbridge is still sponsor as well, that does play in a PDC, has not won any major events or such. They don't have the fortune of sponsoring the great caliber players that Unicorn do. But Eric Bristow is certainly one of the highlights of the dart industry for many, many years. So as always with our show, provided some feedback, comments. Always these darts are available here in store for you to come in and try out. We certainly had as many of the great Harrows models in stock and available for you to come in and try here at the store, or order online. You'll find both the PowerPoints and the Eric Bristow darts on our website at hotshotscanada.com. Now, to continue, we began last week with a dartboard contest, asking you to send us pictures of your most beat up dartboard there in your home. And I can't believe the response we had, so much so that my email box actually over this past weekend ran full. So in case any of you had emails bounce back, we corrected all the bandwidth availability and megabyte holding within our email box, or whoever the terminology is there. So you can certainly send your pictures through to us again. Take some pictures of your dartboards at home. And again, I will judge. Maybe we'll make a phone call, send the emails out, and let maybe a celebrity judge this, or maybe one of our dart stars judge this. And let's select one of the most beaten up dartboards to receive a free Winmau Blade III. We'll get it into shipping, get it out to you, the winner. And again, the deadline for this contest, Wednesday at midnight of this week, which I believe will be Wednesday, October 21st. As always, I appreciate your comments, your feedback. Let me know what you think about the Harrows darts. Let me know what you think about the show. As they always say, constructive criticism, wow, it's early here. Constructive criticism is always appreciated, and I certainly do appreciate it. Everyone, thanks for watching. Have a great day.